Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your card reading for the new moon in Scorpio of November 18th. So, as I'm filming this, Jupiter and Venus are conjunct in Scorpio, which is a very benevolent, wonderful aspect. And when the new moon hits, the moon, the sun, and Venus and Jupiter will all still be in Scorpio. So this is shining a benevolent aspect on what can feel otherwise like kind of shocking changes. So what I'd compare it to is shape-shifting, really. Being in one of those werewolf movies where you're in the middle of the change, your bones are breaking and your skin is splitting, and you're not quite a human, but you're not quite a wolf either. And you must be thinking, what did I do? How do I get out of this? Can I go backwards? And right now, I feel like the universal energies are so insistent about change that if you've put yourself in their path at all, you're being carried along with the Whitewater River. And maybe even you feel like you're being carried over a waterfall. And there are planetary aspects, notably the asteroids. So if you want to look them up, like next to Saturn, is an asteroid, or not an asteroid, but a point, Black Moon Lilith, that's about independence. And next to the north node of the moon, there's Ceres, which is sort of providing a stabilizing, slow down aspect to the push for creative potential. And next to Uranus, which is firing up everything in Aries, there is Pallas with her cool wisdom. So you might take a look at those if you're at all interested in astrology, but there is this sense that in all of these places where there's strain and there's pushing and things are being melted down and recast into new forms, there are benevolent, balancing aspects of those energies which you can tap into. So if you think about the idea of having your own Mr. Miyagi, or having a trusted midwife, or having a jump master if you're skydiving, these energies are out there, and they are part of the reason I did the Ancestor series of videos that I did. So if you are reaching for ancestors that you don't know, there are plenty of people doing great videos about doing ancestor work with ancestors you do know. Ember Honeyraven did a great video on that, which she called ancestry work. And it wasn't all ritual based, if that's not your bag. It had a lot of very practical ways to connect with your ancestors at this time of year. But those are people that you know. I did my series on connecting with ancestors you don't know, because I think when you're going through these crazy transformations, if you feel somewhat estranged from your immediate ancestors, or you don't see how what you're going through they could possibly relate to, I wanted to confirm that there are people in your kindred who can relate, who can help, who can support you in your changes. Because, as I said, right now you might be a kid with growing pains, feel like an adolescent kid saying to your parents, can it stop? Like, it hurts, your joints are aching, and you just want it to stop. And they're saying, sorry, this process it's moving along, but you'll be satisfied with the way it turns out. So whatever you're transforming in your life, and it's probably something significant, I wish you much luck. Let's all get over the waterfall and through the Whitewater Rapids together, even if we're grabbing the edges of our boats and screaming, no, I didn't want this. I think it's happening. So let's see what the cards are. I pulled the Animal Totem Tarot because, again, I feel this is very shape-shifty, in-between kind of energy. Oh, and I wanted to mention Scorpio is represented by 4 different animals. The scorpion, of course, but the snake, which, of course, sheds its skin. And during the time it's doing that, it's vulnerable and sluggish and not very well able to respond to threats. We have the eagle, which is the high flyer of Scorpio, but which also will dine on carrion. Even eagles will scavenge. And then we have the phoenix, which burns to a crisp before it rises again. So you've got these really stark figures of intense transformation. But as always in Scorpio, energy comes from elsewhere and maybe where you don't expect it. So unexpected sources of support. So let's flip the Lenormand card and let's see. Okay, so this is the bouquet, which is a beautiful card. I'm using the Lenormand card here as a focal point for the energies that I'm showing in the tarot card. And I think I did mention this is the Animal Totem Tarot. So the bouquet for me is a very Jupiterian card. It's about blessings. It's about gifts. They come from an authoritative place. It doesn't mean from an authority figure in your life, although it could be. But this is an offer that has structure. This didn't just come out of nowhere. This is a gift, an invitation. This is an offering that has some purpose behind it. So think about taking it. And this might be the case where you have this unexpected thing that comes forward in your life and it isn't what you thought. But kind of right now, a lot of things aren't going to be what we thought. Our ability to see forward or to move backward is pretty impaired. We're in the middle of the journey and there's really no way out except to go through. So try to realize the gift and the opportunity in it. And if you see new opportunities on the way, I think you can think about taking them. It might be a light at the end of the tunnel for you. Who knows? But anyway, let's see kind of what we've got here. Okay, so, all right, the Fool in reverse. And we have Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the King of Swords. Okay, the Eagle of Scorpio. Even though we typically think of swords as air cards, this is plainly the Eagle. Okay, so the Fool, in this deck, we've got this grasshopper in the sunshine. Hopefully you can see that. It's beautiful. And the grasshopper's busy hopping, just doing its thing. And we think of if you think of the story, the ants and the grasshopper, the ants were working all summer so that they would have harvest put away. And the grasshopper was just busy lazing around all summer, so to speak, and wasting his time. In this sense, we've got the Fool in reverse. I also think of the Fool as a very Uranian card. It has to deal with that Uranus energy, which is right now in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, so very much placed in the Fool. And the fact that we have this in the reverse position probably means that we've already started something. So we're not at the very beginning anymore. This leap has already been taken. And you can't take the leap off the cliff again. You're already jumped off a cliff. I hope that makes sense. We've already jumped off the cliff, so we kind of have committed ourselves at least till we get to the bottom of the cliff that we've jumped off of. So it's saying maybe we don't start something brand new or try to change paths, but we acknowledge that we're in a process that's already begun. In the past, we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So we've got these sort of sparring elk, looks like, and we've got the pentacles in the tree. And we've got the sense with the Seven of Pentacles usually of time and of cycles. And because it's in reverse, it can signal that we've been impatient. And the Fool often can be a card of impatience. We just want to get started. And this is saying that whatever impatience we've exhibited, that's got to go by the wayside. we're not going to have an ability to make changes in the process we're in by impatience. We've got to stick with it. Now you might say, how does that figure in with the idea of the bouquet of resources coming in? It's because if we stick with it, if we give ourselves to the transformation, we can get help from unexpected sources, help that will assist us in going where we're going, if that makes any sense. It will help calm us and carry us where we're going. And this actually indicates that too. So here's the King of Swords. And this eagle with this crown and this sword is very much a commanding figure and is commanding the heights, has a great sense of perspective and a great sense of command. And this is, of course, the scorpionic energy that we want. We want to feel like we're the boss. We want to feel powerful. We want to feel in control of our situation. But that is a feeling that we're only going to gain by going through this uncomfortable newness. We started something. We started something. And now we kind of have to keep working our way through it to get to the good stuff, to get to the crown, to get to this feeling of calm. But that is something that's coming. So the idea of being totally scared in the now isn't going to be as good as trying to get deliberate and resolved to go forward. And it could be that part of the gift, because we have the Queen of Spades in the inset here, that part of the gift is a sense of mental mastery, of the ability not to panic, the ability, if we see this Seven of Pentacles here, and these elk fighting, to fight the cycle, to try and battle our way through it, or to let it put us in conflict with other people. This one, I think of this like sort of elk, like sort of a young elk kind of crying and making his voice heard. Like there's a real sense of maybe, I don't know how to say it, like whining. And it's kind of like, okay, no whining is going to get us out of it. No, we can't make a new jump because we're already halfway down a cliff. We can't change what we've already started. We're already moving. So the only thing we can do is to master our panic, master our sense of moving into the unknown, and let that mastery and that calmness, drawing from whatever resources we have, whatever our divine resources are, our internal coping strategies, your kindred, your guardian angels, your chakras, yoga, whatever methods you have, using those to gain that sense of mental calm that says, I know I can get through this. Because I feel like there's a lot of energy right now, certainly astrologically, that is there to counsel, to guide, and to give us a helping hand that says, I know you can do this. You're strong. You can do this. You will not only survive this, you are going to come out doing so well. Instead of being the young whining elk who can't participate because you're not old enough yet, instead of being the young fool and the baby, you emerge from this a king, master of some thing that was frightening and unknown to you before. So I think it's very encouraging, even though right now it probably feels sort of terrifying, and I relate. And to the extent that you're going through something hard and traumatic, I wish you all the best and hope that you find your mental poise and your peace as part of the gift of this experience. And until the next time, rock on with your bad selves.